Hi, folks. You're with Tat today at your Pushback channel, and thank you for joining this radio live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about online internet commerce and focus a little bit on online dating sites, but talking about other online commerce as well. Well, a couple of things actually have brought this up. One was I've bought a few things online, technical components, and the reason I bought them online was because the shop didn't have them. They couldn't tell me when it was going to be in. I needed the items, and so I looked around online, and the ones that said they had it in stock and could ship it the same day were the ones that I ended up doing business with. Now, in the first one, they as soon as I placed the order, and they've got my credit card and all this sort of stuff, then they say, "Oh, look, we just sold out." Wow, isn't that incredible? We just sold out the second before you placed your order. Now that was a lie, and it was obvious. They didn't have it in stock. They just used that claim of, "We have it in stock, we can ship it today." They used that as a bait and switch in effect. Now, not all of them are like that. Some that say they have it in stock do, but there are others that don't. I'd say maybe slightly better than 50% average on this. So now it came up again a couple of days ago. There's something I need urgently. It was way overpriced in the shop, and so I could get it for much less online, even including freight. And so I put the order in the same again. They claimed they could ship it straight away, but no, it wasn't there, and they're clearly getting it in. Now, maybe, times a little tight, so they don't want to tie up their money in inventory, so they're getting it from somewhere else, and then they're passing it on to the customer. I get that, but don't say you've got it in fucking stock when you don't. Now, this is how they make their money, this misrepresentation. The same thing can be said for when we've looked at getting like a beach house or a holiday sort of house, vacation house on the beach, and we go to he said, "That one sounds nice, let's get that one." And as soon as we try and place the order, as it were, they come back. "Oh no, we've just rented only 1 second ago. Oh, but we've got this other place for twice as much, or further back from the beach, and so on." Now, I doubt the other place existed, or if it does exist, then it's either not available or was rented a long time ago. But it's an advert that pulls a good number of responses, so they keep it there because it's effective at bringing, the baiting the would-be customers. So now the second thing that's occurred, we've had a few friends that have ended long-term or reasonably long-term relationships, and they've decided to go on the online dating scene, men and women. And I'll combine this with a little thing that we did a few years back on checking out the online dating sort of scene, just to see how many fake adverts there were. We assumed there were. We didn't know there'd be quite as many as we seemed to think there were or discovered. So, but there are just the women that we know, and they're sort of early 40s, that sort of thing, and still look okay, and so they're going out onto the dating scene, and their complaints are that men, the really hot men, somehow magically disappear as soon as they reach out to them or send some sort of internal message or whatever it is, and they don't get they don't get any response because the messages they get back are very much automated type messages, and then suddenly the profile disappears and that sort of thing. So their other complaints are that the photographs of the men in their in their prime and some years earlier, and they're can be 10 years ago for the photograph, and they've put on quite a bit of weight, and they're nowhere near as as good as depicted in the photograph. Some have got like really professional photographs done with professional lighting, and they don't look anywhere near as good in the daylight and that type of thing. So those, you know, I mean, people putting their best sort of side on it, but why put in something that's seriously unrepresentative, because it's only going to mean a lot more work for the person on the other side, a lot more work for the guy turning up for rendezvous, only to find that the woman's disappointed at what she sees, as opposed to the profile photograph. So those are the complaints. And you know, she mentions that she meets a guy who's in quite, you know, serious ill health, that makes no mention of it. That doesn't mean these people don't need or want love or something like that. But the issue is that is their profile and photograph representative of what they look like and their state of health and so on today. And her complaint is many of them are not. And she finds that it's almost a full-time job finding dates. There's just one particular lady I'm thinking of, finding dates, given she's got to sort through all the riffraff, and she's saying more than half really get eliminated. But the onus is on her to do the questioning, the checking out, you know, the meeting, and to you know, when she gets to see them. Now, it's also interesting, even at that age in the 40s, you know, she complains, but she didn't seem to expect, and she's no shrinking violet, this woman, but she didn't expect that she'd be getting things like dick pics and so on, which seems odd for men in their 40s to want to do. I thought that would have been like a college kid gig, but there you go. Now, the reverse, on the other side of it, sort of men that are doing it, they and you know, the women want sort of, I just want a hot guy who works out in the gym all the time, who's got Hollywood movie star good looks, and he's got lots of money and wants to do nothing but spend his time giving me all his attention and so on. So yeah, the reality is they have to move down market a little bit from that high point, the women, that is. Now the men, and we did a little gigs a while ago where there's a few of us, and we tried to look at, and I was the data collator, so I got to see it, or tried to look at how many profiles were fake for men and for women, doing the comparison. Now, it depends on how, I guess, you know, like the prime beachfront real estate, or claims of, you know, we've got it in stock and that sort of thing. The way these online dating sites make money is you look at, wow, look at all those hot chicks. You know, I'm going to join up and spend shitloads of money and get dates with all these hot chicks, or for a woman who does it, get dates with all these hot guys. The reality appears to be that the hotter the profile and the hotter the photograph is that they simply don't exist. They're all inventions. They're there to bait. They're the bait. And you know, if you look at you know, one guy, he picked what he thought were, and we agreed, you know, there's 20 of the hottest chicks in town. And all 20, when he approached them, all 20, the profiles disappeared. So, and yeah, it's the same thing. Oh, I didn't have time to take my profile down. You know, all this sort of, these responses. So clearly they were all inventions, but 20 of them. I mean, you got to be kidding, 20. So then moving down market from the hottest chicks into sort of the mid range of what, you know, would reasonably considered a mid range. And I think it was 12 was the number there. Only one of those was real, and she was, you know, the photograph was from quite some time ago, and she'd been eating a lot of Big Macs in the meantime. So that was that one didn't go anywhere. Now once you get down to the you know, women who are too poor to go out on you know, to lead a social life, you know, going out to things that they don't have the money that allows them to do it. and they're down at heel and the least attractive. Again, it doesn't mean they don't want and need love and so on, but that's when the numbers spike up. So, but that will be the same with anything. If you look at the least desirable real estate, then that's always the easiest to get to. If you look at the most expensive items online, or where the service is poor, whether they've got a 70% rating for reliability and dependability, that they'll always be the easiest to get to. But once you start going to like premium products and so on, then it's much harder. Now, the same can be said just for real estate rentals. The well-priced, fantastic looking property, it's a bait property. It doesn't exist. It's not available. And this is the case here. But the women at the bottom end, and I assume it was the same with women wanting men. As soon as you go to the bottom end, then the numbers tend to be real, and the people do exist, and they do turn up for rendezvous and that sort of thing, and basically they've got no other option. They just can't afford to do it any other way. Now, because they're at the bottom, the least attractive, they're also the least choosy. So, but which is the same, anywhere you go in that sort of thing. It's the same, night clubbing and doing the sort of things that you do when you're young and irresponsible. Going around the bars and what used to be called discotheques, things like that. The hottest chicks were always the hardest to get, and the least attractive were on balance of relativity, the easiest to get. And I think it's the same from certainly the numbers that we collated in the online dating scene. But I wouldn't mind seeing some opinions below just on your experiences online commerce. And it could be, again, buying things online. It could be a holiday, vacation rental, beach homes. It could be just organising ordinary property, residential rentals, or even office rentals for that matter. That seems to be a thing as well in terms of the. But I don't know how bad it is compared to what it once was. My memory is that these things pre-internet days, or not so much the online dating, that didn't exist, but things like renting holiday beach homes for the vacation period and or renting any property. It seemed to be much more reliable. When you went into a shop and it was advertised as being there, it would be there. So the reliability factor appears to be much higher pre-internet days than it does now. So now some of this could be because the internet sort of encourages a bit of a seat of the pants thing of let's move quickly, we can fix it quickly type thing. But it's more than that. There is a willful and deliberate attempt to deceive in the internet. So same could be for used cars. As a used car I was interested in, so I went along. It wasn't that far away. I went along to see the item, and a really seedy bunch of dudes in the used car lot, by the way. But and then I know we've just sold it. We've just gone just to see. Oh, you fucking never had it, you assholes. So it seems to be an online thing. But I'm interested to see your comments below. The online dating thing didn't particularly surprise me, but what surprised me was the scale of just how many profiles they seem prepared to put on there of hot chicks or hot guys, from the other way, for people that don't exist. They're purely invented, absolutely fictional, and I don't know why there aren't laws to try and clean that up. There was a thing, or some years ago now, where it was a I don't know what you'd call it. It wasn't. You wouldn't call it online dating, online sex, I suppose you'd call it. And they were hacked, the site, and the names disclosed, which was judges and politicians and senior public servants and so on. But they were outed because more than half their profiles, I'm hot and horny and I want sex. And, those sorts of profiles. They were all fake. They've got this bunch of writers in the back room that their job is to just churn out fake profiles all day to sucker people to paying the fee to join. So it'll be interesting to see your experiences below, and you've been with Tassos today at your Pushback channel. Thank you for listening.